Hello friends, I'm Colonel Failure and this is Transport Fever on the North Atlantic map. You join us in New York City, where the train on the North American Intercity is just leaving the station, which is what we put together last time around. After fighting the station for a little while, we built this route all the way out to Charlotte in a double track kind of fashion, and we're still building passengers up in this regard. But that's quite an attractive sight, don't you think? Kind of peels off there, heads around the corner, done all of that. Anyway, the first thing I want to do today is I want to get another train on there. At least one more train running on the North American Intercity, because it's going to be the best way to kind of get the number of passengers up and the profits flowing. Which is kind of essential, and that's all that's really holding me back at the moment is more trains is what I need. More trains. I mean, especially if we hop over to Europe, you will see we have passengers galore waiting, and Europe, particularly here in Nantes, is waiting for it's waiting for a station upgrade so that I can execute the same thing. Nantes to Toulouse, pretty important, given that Toulouse is the other side of that North Atlantic connection, and if we're ever going to make it work, we need to be getting more passengers there. I mean, if we've got anybody to see one passenger heading down to the port is not going to make that profitable. But Toulouse is ripe for growth if I can just get a few more potential customers down there. Anyway, yes, that's what we're doing today, is we're going to hopefully extend the number of trains that we're running, and as such, we'll be bringing in more profit. So stick around and watch it happen. So I've set the game into high gear ever so briefly in order to rattle a little bit more cash in, and here we are watching this paddle steamer complete its journey across the Atlantic with not an iceberg in sight, which is it's quite heartening to see. What was that worth? 17,500. It's not the highest earner I've ever seen. And while we're waiting for cash to come in, let's have a quick peek. Quick peek? Sure, that'll do. A quick peek at exactly how the cash is going. In a good year, water is making me 50,000, while costing me 240,000 to run. Realistically, I should just shut it down, because if it's not going to pay off, why am I throwing away effectively 200,000 a year on keeping that going? Well, I mean, the problem you have with Transport Fever overall is that in order to keep some services running, you are going to need to bankroll them. And frankly, you could play the game with trains only and make plenty of money, thank you very much. Well, trains and a bit of road. But even then, looking at road services, I'm making a profit, but it's not a profit that's really worth talking about. Now, there is more cash to be had here, particularly once I start upgrading to goods lines as well. There's plenty of cash out in them there hills, and on the subject of which, I now have enough to buy a new train. But yes, from the way that I play, I am quite happy to have unprofitable services running, providing their costs are being suitably offset by other things. So we're going to run with a mogul. Oh, we're up to this stage already. I something other than orange. Come on, man, get a sense of perspective. Let's go bright red. Let's have one of those. And then the expensive bit is going to be, because it's it's £1 million for the locomotive, but then it's actually another 2 million, 3 million potentially, if you want to actually be able to carry some passengers around. That's 32. I'm going to talk to the bank manager. Keep buying. What's that? 64. I'd like to go again if possible. Come on, someone arrive. We're almost there. I'm maxed out on my loan, as is so often the case. Come on, one more. Make it worth my while to run this thing. I need a European train to arrive. And that's the other thing that I've got going on at the moment is Europe is at least in part financing my American services while they build back up again. Anyway, there we go. We're off and rolling. Good, 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 good. Let's see how obnoxious that bright red paint is. Oh, it's not even slightly obnoxious. Look at that. That's bold. That's making a statement. That's, you know, hello, I'm a train and I'm red. There's possibly a bolder statement going on there somewhere. Now, it is a little close to the previous service, so I might hold it up for a moment. Let's have a look at the spacing we've got going on here. Now, I mean, after a year or two, this really won't make any difference. But right now, I'd like to try and maintain a bit of a gap. Because once the demand builds up over here in North America to the same extent as it has in Europe, there's more than enough passengers to keep every train fully occupied for quite some time. Right, where are we up to? What have we got here? 22. All right. All right, we'll go. You may now go about your business. Make me many monies, if you would be so kind. And so, yeah, we're at the phase here. We're at the end of the 19th century, where largely there's just some waiting to be done for cash to come in. You know, there's nothing wrong with the services I'm running. Arguably, the ships being the exception to that rule. I could probably say the same about trams. What do you think? Klondike, a slightly better paddle steamer. In fact, I'm not even sure that one takes passengers. It looked like it did, but I think that might be the last paddler that does goods. Anyway, I was hoping for a dramatic shot there of the other train coming in again. So look, there we are. And we've got kind of mixed era services running, although that looked like it was a mogul as well. So I'll just shut up. Yeah, but we do definitely have mixed era services running over here in North America right now. And let's give you a bit of a pause. Just hold your horses for a sec. So let's have a look where we are. So we've got one moving up here towards New York. Right, that's good. We've got one moving up towards Toronto. And I'm guessing that that's the Toronto-Chicago service. So, yeah, I'm not just guessing. I'm correct. Toronto-Chicago, right there. Now, I mean, that's going to be my next obvious expansion route in order to make this work, is to get Chicago built up. And then we can assign this locomotive, this train, onto the same network. And all being well, everybody will be happy, or we'll make some cash at least. Right, that's a bit more space there now. Let's wait for this chap to get out of New York. There we go. Right, you may complete your operation. So still 21, but Charlotte's only a small town right now, and it's spreading in the wrong direction. It would be good for people to get with the program and build over this side of the tracks. That will certainly help me out, and themselves, if you know transportation is something they feel like they might benefit from. Okay, right. Well, since we are in a wait for stuff to happen kind of a moment, let's head over here to Europe and see how we're getting on. I mean, what we can see immediately is holy cow, that's a lot of passengers waiting. And I really ought to think about starting to get those elsewhere. And believe me, I am thinking about that. Does the bank want to lend me any more money? No, of course it doesn't. That would be far too helpful. I can pay it all back, Mr. Bank Manager. I just need the capital in order to expand my operations. So look, we've got 300 people waiting here already, and more are coming up by the second. So maybe I ought to stick another service on here as well. I mean, what's your capacity? 77. Pretty respectable, all told. Making good money. And it could make easily could make more, were I only to have the cash to apply another engine to this route. Now, the other option here is that I could start to look at goods, because goods are extendable with trucks. So if I could find a truck-based service, and I did find one when I was generally poking around the map not so long ago. I'll take you there in a sec. I just want to have a quick shufti at Berlin. Yeah, and you know, because the trucks are relatively easy to expand with because they're cheap. So you don't need to buy 4 million quid's worth of truck in a throw. You can get away with spending 50,000 at a time. You know, again, we've got 267 people waiting here now. I mean, and the money's coming in. I mean, I've paid $1 million off the loan already. I've got another $500,000 sat in the bank. But given that the minimum buy-in is like 3 million quid, I'm not going anywhere for a little while. Right, yes, let's talk goods. So while generally just flicking around the map, I stumbled across this, which is actually pretty rare in Transport Fever. Is we've got a farm and a farm processing plant next to each other, and then we've got an oil well and an oil refinery right next to each other, and then we've got a receiving town that is pretty close by. In fact, you know, I could get that up and running for, I guess 200 grand. The oil, certainly. And that would start to get Port Nelson up and feeling modernised relatively quickly. So, you know what, I'm going to do that. Given that it's going to be a little while before I've got the cash to extend my passenger routes any further, and, you know, 2 years. If I did 2 years without spending, I'd have the money, no problem at all. But when have you known me to just sit around and wait for money to come in? Right, let's have a quick look at the overlay here. Right, so we're going to need, where are we? If we just focus on fuel for the time being. So we go to fuel, and fuel is demanded by industrial. Perhaps unsurprisingly, but it would be quite good to be able to service both from one truck depot. So both fuel, both industrial and commercial. Just because it would make it a nice, easy expansion. Now, for those of you who will inevitably go, you know, you can drop these off at passenger stops. Yeah, I do know I can drop these off at passenger stops. I'm not going to. I don't like dropping off at passenger stops. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel natural. I will drop them off at a good station, and you know, and everybody will be happy. There's the alternate there. Not a massive amount of commercial coverage, but a whole slew of industrial versus actually not much of either. A little bit more commercial. Okay, right. Well, you're going in here. It's either that or we're into eminent domain. There we are. We're on. Yes, this is a thing that's happening now. This isn't just a pipe dream. This is a coherent plan that I'm putting in motion. Right. Now, in the fullness of time, I will probably replace this refining station here that I'm setting up now, this truck stop. I will probably replace that with a train station in order to service other parts of the world, or at the very least other parts of North America. You see, now it's flirting with me. It's going, here's a tank car. I hear you were talking about oil. Well, how would you like to transport it in the height of luxury? I go, well, I really would like to transport it in the height of luxury. However, we're not building a train. This is an education in trucks and the benefits inherent in using them instead of trains. Go on. There we go. Now, I've put those as close together as possible in order to rattle that around nice and quick. I'm also considering a beeline from here to there, which is going to be faster than the right angle turn we've got going on now. Let's price it up and see what we see. So if I were to just very simply do that, what are we looking at? 50 large. Well, that'll pay for itself in no time. It's well worth doing. Okay, right. Well, get on with it then. Let's get on with it. How am I short of cash again? Come on, I need a train to arrive. Someone arrive me a train. Bankroll this escapade, if you would be so kind. That's nothing but You wait for a train to arrive at a station just so you can make a bit of bank in order to build stuff. Come on. All my trains can't but think of it. There we go. There's one. All right. Okay. Because every time a train arrives, it's worth a couple of 100,000, and then every time you get to the end of the month, we have money sucked out of the account to pay for everything. It's a bit of a drag, but you can't really complain about it too heavily because that's more or less as it should be. Okay, right. Let's route up here. So we're going to run from hither to there. So this is going to be Port Nelson Oil. What do we think? PRN. It's going to be P for port. PRN. Port Nelson. It's not just Port Nelson, though, is it? Is it, though? Is it? I know this is just oil. Okay, and then we're going to add another new line, which will be PRN. Fuel. There we are. I was thinking for a moment there that actually it was going to be quite complicated and that I'd need a third line and a fourth, but no, I'm just doing a very standard, couple of truck point-to-point services. This couldn't be any cheaper. It possibly could be a little bit cheaper. If I were to set trucks to drop off and then pick up fuel and then, well, who has the energy for that? Right, let's go there and go spending. Freight, right, horse wagon. Now, we've got American horse cart. That looks promising. The steam lorry, I believe, is European. However, I could be mistaken. Oh, no, they're not. They're American. Okay. And they're quick. Excellent. And I can afford 10 of them. Superb. Right, let's buy. What do we feel like? Let's go big or go home. Let's go 6 here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we are. Set line on the oil route here, please. There we are. Right, now this should kick the factory into high gear. I'm going to give these guys a bit of a head start. I'm going to turn you around the other way there, Mush. There you are, you go up the other one. This auto spacing that everybody keeps banging on about, that I don't wholeheartedly subscribe to. It's a whole lot easier if you auto space it yourself. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's where I'm going. Now, these are not the swiftest or highest of capacity vehicles, but with enough of them. Tell me you're using the route. Now, if we buy some more here, let's buy some in a slightly more oily colour. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we'll set that on the other end of the route. Because if you only set up one half of the route, yes, your factory might kick off. But it's more likely to do so if you are supplying both ends of the equation. So by delivering even an empty truck's worth, but saying like, look, see, I'm trying to do an oil delivery here, then quite often you will kick your line into gear, he said. And there we go. We have oil waiting. We are now an oil baron. That really doesn't look safe. I'm saying, and the suspension is woeful. But hey, let's follow it along. It's new, it's interesting, it's dynamic, it's packing a stargazing man. I'm all about this. Meanwhile, let's pay back some of that money. Now, we're only serving one town. In order to serve anything else than that, given the distances involved, trucks simply aren't going to be viable. But if we keep just servicing this one town, then the amount of goods coming out of that factory will continue to increase, and over time, one would hope that we could certainly fill this 6 truck demand setup that we've got going. The other thing that I could do very quickly would be to do the same thing with food, but frankly, the food is far enough apart that I would consider doing that by train rather than anything else. Maybe link the fields with the processing up by road, but then probably run a goods line down here somewhere. I don't know. Show me where the commercial is again. Probably run the goods down this side here. I mean, I see that sounds much more confident. Right, let's go and have a look and see how the situation is progressing with our passenger route. Let's re-up the tempo again. I don't want to re-up it too much. Just want to re-up it enough so that we can see some activity. 63 is okay. Almost a full train's worth. What are you carrying out to Charlotte? 32. Well, that's more than it was previously, but it's still not, this is not, well, we can all start celebrating now because we're multi-billionaires. We're quite a long way off that. But we're getting there. There is definitely, what are you waiting for there, Chief? How did you get so close? That doesn't seem likely. I bet it's because of the flipping reversing service I've got going into Chicago. In which case I really ought to fix that. That's something that should be rectified rapidly. And I think that's what I'll probably get onto next time. I want to just finish off with the goods service that I'm rolling here. Now that's the other potential, of course, is you could be catching up with an inferior service. Given that there's different makeups on these trains, it's highly likely that a faster service will catch up with a slower one. Well, that's something that sounds intelligent, but really, when you think about it, what I just said was like the fast thing catches the slow thing. Thank you. Anyway, right. Let's have a quick look here. What are you producing? No, you don't produce anything. What are you producing? 50. Excellent. Well, that's good. Now, I mean, given that we're using exactly the same model of truck at both ends, what we need to do here is if I'm going to up one side, I need to up the other as well. There's 1.3 million in the bank. Pay it into the loan for the moment, and then we'll consider something sensible to do with it. In fact, this you can use this as a savings account for your next episode, can't you? The one where you buy some more train. All right, you and your wisdom. Right, let's put another couple on here. So we'll put a grey on the first one. On oil, thank you, and we'll stick a black on the other one. There we are, sticking that on fuel. Arguably the wrong colorization there for those different services, but who's really counting? What have we got? It looks like a ship. It's definitely a ship. Oh, we got a ship and a bus and a car and a wagon and the whole thing's just going like showtime, everybody. Let's go. Right, are you carrying anybody at all? Anybody carrying goods down here? Someone must be. I've been producing the stuff. I mean, where's it been going? Oh well, evidently we have made deliveries because we've got some hot crane action going on here. Let's have a look. Or not, as the case may be. What's going on with my frame rate? Right, we have found ourselves a bold new adventurer who is transporting fuel, and for some reason fuel comes in this bread basket of some description, and for reasons unknown, my frame rate has started acting terribly erratically. Okay, well, look, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll wrap up here. I'd quite like to see how much this is going to pay me. Let's repay a little bit more on the loan. But I clearly need to go and hit some... no, I don't. Just when you think it's complying, it isn't. So yes, I clearly need to go and hit something with a hammer in order to. I mean, look at this. What's this? What's going on here? I don't even understand. But I want to know how much you're worth, and so does everybody else. Everybody watching wants to know what you're worth. So let's find that out. Yep, just drive through the building. Nobody really minds. And our survey says, let's slow it down. Maybe that will give us some more. No, it's not. It's not giving us any more consistency. Something is rotten in Denmark. 10,000. Okay, that's good. If we look at the finances of the thing, what do we got here? Running costs last year 3,000. Well, I only bought that midway through the year. Where are we? May. So I would guess at about 8,000 in the course of a year would be the running cost of one of these. So it's already going to be profitable this year. Just an estimate, but it still looks quite promising. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in today. Apologies for the lapse in high quality video production towards the end here, but I'll get that sorted and I'll be back next time where we will extend our train operations in such a way that makes us an awful lot of cash. I do hope you tune in for that. Please throw a like at this one if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you've not yet done so, and I'll be back very soon with a little more of the same. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.